Welcome to the Manna at the Tap, a podcast of Tapestry Ministries. It is Tuesday, January the 14th, 2025. The podcast offers a daily Bible reading from the Revised Common Lectionary. We at the Tapestry community call this reading the Manna we explore together. It is the spiritual nourishment our souls desire and the sustenance required to foster our spiritual growth. I'm Gloria, a fellow traveler on this spiritual journey with you, and together we can share insights and interpretations from the daily biblical lectionary reading, which will enrich our spiritual lives. Today, we continue the intriguing story of Deborah, a prophet who spoke on behalf of God to his people. At the time of this story, the people were struggling in their small communities, living under the oppressive rule of a foreign military leader named Sisera. Deborah sat beneath her palm tree on the main highway, offering advice to those who stopped by seeking to resolve their issues. The lectionary reading is Judges chapter 5, verses 12 to 21. This passage features a flashback in a song composed by Deborah that recounts the story of how Barak, the military leader in Israel, was called by God to gather 10,000 men to fight against the army of Sisera. You see, after 20 years, it was time for the people to cast off the oppressor Sisera. To accomplish this, the tribal communities of Israel were called to participate in the upcoming battle. But only 6 communities agreed, and they were praised and honored for their involvement. Some of the other communities ignored the call, while others made excuses for not wanting to participate. They were rebuked for failing to join the battle to free the people. By the time Barak, the Israelite military leader, had gathered the men to accompany him to battle against Sisera and his 900 chariots, one could understand why he wanted Deborah to accompany him to the battlefield. The Israelites were an army of amateur foot soldiers with no advanced weapons, while their enemy was a professional army with access to chariots of iron. The song, and this is a song, the Song of Deborah praises the men who came together from the other tribes to help each other with in the fight against the enemy. You see, this would be their biggest battle to date, and everyone was needed. Deborah knew the greatest weapon Israel had was the word of the Lord. The Lord had compassion on the people when they cried out to him for help. But there was also another important role for them to play, and that was to be part of the battle so they could be part of the victory. The Lord promised to give them victory in the battle. And as the battle is about to begin, Deborah reminded Barak, let's go This is the day the Lord has handed Sisera over to you. The Lord has gone before you. The Song of Deborah describes how the battle ensued. The 10,000 men of Israel assembled against a coalition of Canaanite kings. As the battle alternated between divine intervention and human participation, we see something happening. God's heavenly host, the stars in the heavens, caused rain to fall. And this in turn caused the Kishon River to flood. The Kishon River was typically just a trickle of a waterway in the dry season, but a torrent when it rained. In verses 20 to 21 of the lectionary reading of Judges 5, verses 12 to 21, it was dry when the chariots of Sisera first traveled near the Kishon River. But the unseasonable rains caused a flash flood that overtook them and drowned the unsuspecting army and their chariots. The men of Sisera's army abandoned their chariots, running in confusion, and Barak and his 10,000 men were able to destroy all of them. Only Sisera escaped as he ran away on foot. Deborah's weapon was God's word. God's word promised the people that he would save them and give them victory. Deborah and Barak praised God, and the people enjoyed 40 years of rest. A sequel to this story is still to come in about 4 weeks.